Hi everyone, I'm Andrea and this is Knowing Yoga, and you have made it to class 5 of the beginning yoga series. This is our 14 class journey, and congrats on making it to class 5, whether it's taken you 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, who cares? It doesn't matter, you're here and I'm thankful for that. Today's class is all about engaging the core. So when we talk about the core, we're talking about the muscles in the pelvic, the abdominal region, including the obliques. We're talking about lower back, lower lats, all of those muscles that come together, work together to help stabilize us and help with our balance. So by strengthening the core, we're going to improve our posture, help prevent injuries, and we will kind of build some strength for just daily activities to become easier, whether it's reaching down and picking up a pin off the floor, or swinging a golf club, or playing tennis, or running 5 miles. A strong core helps with all of those things. So let's get to it. All right, we are going to start this strengthening, engaging your core practice with grounding ourselves into the moment with our senses, so we can come onto the mat, let the rest of the day go, whether stuff has happened before you stepped onto the mat or this is the first thing you do. Let's let go of the worries for the rest of the day and just give yourself this time in this moment to focus on you, quieting your mind, strengthening your body. Let's get to it. All right, so we're gonna start by identifying one object that you can look at, describe to yourself. So find one object and just observe what it looks like without judgment, just noting something about it. And when you have done that, we're going to kind of come into the touch sense. So take your index finger on one hand and open the palm of your other hand. And as you look down, just gently tracing the lines on the palm of your hand with that index finger, noting the different sensations that you feel. Again, without judgment, just focusing on what's happening in the here and now. And then gently rub your palms together, noticing the sensation there. And then we're going to bring our eye gaze down to the floor, or you can close your eyes if you're comfortable, and try and identify one sound inside of your space and then one sound outside of your space. So maybe something in the room that you're in and then something else outside, or outside the room that you're in. Nice. Okay, and we're going to open our eyes and then come into our practice. So we are going to start facing sideways on our mat. You can place a blanket or pillow at the top of your mat. We're going to lay on our back here in a minute. But first we're going to start by just kind of waking up the core, waking up the muscles here, and coming into an egg type shape posture. So what I want you to do is bend your knees out in front of you. You might need your hands on the floor for support at first, and walk the feet in as close as you can, grabbing the legs with the forearms, interlacing your fingers, or crossing the arms, grabbing opposite legs. And as we are doing this, if you are out here instead of up here, use a towel just to kind of wrap around, or a yoga strap, and hold on right there. All we want to make sure we're doing is keeping the lower back straight as we engage the core muscles. So pulling the belly button into the spine as we breathe, and then walking those feet close to us, wrapping arms around or strap around, extending through the spine. So keeping that spine as flat as you can, shoulders come down and back, and just taking some deep breaths here, coming up onto our big toes And then maybe walking back a little bit more, lifting up one toe, lifting up another, and then maybe lifting both toes if you're comfortable with that. And just trying to find that balance here. It's okay to rock back and forth, in and out. That's still helping with stability and engaging the core. On the inhale, imagine lengthening the spine. And the exhale, tuck that belly button into the spine a little bit more. And we're breathing. Take a break if you need to. Put those toes on the ground. Awesome job. All right, so from here, we're gonna extend the legs and we're going to place the hands behind us, leaning back a little bit, placing the hands under the shoulders. And again, legs are bent. We're going to engage the core, meaning extending through the spine, pulling the belly button in towards the spine. Okay, so from here, maybe this is strengthening enough. Just trying to lengthen the spine, keep the belly button pulled in, engaging the abs in that way. If you want to kind of strengthen a bit more here, then move the weight into your feet, lifting up the hips. Maybe you just lift them up a little bit and come back down, or maybe you move the feet a little more in and you lift all the way up. So wherever you're at, if you're here, 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 it doesn't matter. As long as your core is engaged, we're strengthening. So just kind of take a couple of deep breaths here. Remembering to breathe, pulling the belly button into the spine. You're going to hear that over and over again. And then relax. So coming back up to a seated position, maybe stretch the arms up high, lower them back down. Then we're going to lay down onto our mat. So coming onto the back, can have your pillow, blanket folded up, whatever you need. And just take a couple of deep breaths here, letting the abdominal muscles relax for a bit. All right, so let's bend up the left knee. We're gonna strengthen the hip flexors and the abs right here. And so to get a good foundation and make sure we keep that core engaged, the belly button is pulling in towards the spine. Our lower back is staying flat against the floor, so there's no space in between the lower back and the mat. We're going to take the palms of our hands, press them down into the earth for a little more support and help in keeping that lower back flat. So let's take the right toes, flex them up towards the face, strengthen every muscle in that right leg, squeezing the muscles to the bone, and inhale, lift that leg, pressing into the left foot to help keep that lower back flat, belly button pulls in. Exhale, lower, keeping the belly button pulled in. Inhale, lift, we're keeping that right leg straight. Exhale, lower, and it doesn't matter if you just lift an inch or if you lift all the way up to perpendicular. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. We're just keeping the belly engaged, keeping the lower back flat to the floor. Inhale, lift, and keeping the toes flexed and the legs straight. Last one, inhale, lift. And exhale, lower, belly button pulls in, lower back flat to the earth, and release completely. Couple of deep breaths here before we switch sides. Nice work, I'm already feeling it. All right, let's bend up the right knee and then plant and press that right foot into the earth. Palms go down, flex the left foot, the toes come back towards the face. Strengthen every muscle in that leg, and then make sure our lower back is flat against the mat. Belly button pulls into the spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Again, whether it's an inch or 2 feet, doesn't matter. Exhale, lower. You're still engaging all the right muscles. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower, pressing the palms into the earth if you need to. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Let's do one more. Inhale, lift. Keeping the belly engaged. Exhale, lower. And then release completely. Relaxing the abs. Taking a couple of deep breaths here. All right, awesome job. You guys are working hard. Let's flip over onto our bellies. And we are going to remove the blanket, pillow, whatever you have. And we're going to strengthen the lower back now. So helping with the easing up that back pain. So let's take our fingers into cobra position. Our hands, tops of the fingers are in line with the tops of the shoulders. Forehead starts down. Feet are hip width distance apart. Really pressing the feet, the shins, the tops of the feet into the earth. And then on our inhale, isometrically pulling the heels of the hands towards the hips, lengthening the spine and the neck. Inhaling, eye gaze comes up. Exhale, lower. Belly's pulling into the spine. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Great job. All right, let's push back into the child's pose of your choice. So remember pulling that pillow or blanket in between the hips and the heels if you like. Forehead to the ground or to a block, whatever feels good here. We're gonna take a few nice long breaths. Reaching out through the fingertips, keeping the arms engaged here. Breathing deep into the belly. All right, and we are going to make our way up into our tabletop position. So if you remember, we're going to have our wrists under the shoulders and our palms of our hands are spread out, fingers spread out, index fingers pointing forward. We're going to take our elbow creases and rotate them to face forward. And then knees are hip width distance apart, feet are hip width distance apart. And let's engage the belly here, bringing the belly button to the spine, pressing the feet and shins into the earth, and then expanding the shoulder blades away from each other. Take a couple of breaths here. And then extending through the crown of the head. Awesome. Let's do some cat-cows. So inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the head. Hands and knees pulling towards each other. Exhale, belly button pulls in tight, rounding up like a cat. Inhale, tailbone and head lift. Exhale, pressing into the earth. Rounding up, belly pulls in tight. Inhale, one more. Exhale, pull the belly button in. And then inhale to neutral. Awesome. All right, we're going to tuck the toes under and then walk the hands back, giving our wrists a little break here. You can kind of roll them one way, roll them the other, shake them out if you need to. And then we are going to come back into that tabletop position and engage the core a little bit more, practicing our balance and stability here. So finding your tabletop position. Awesome. All right, and then we are going to take the right leg back, pressing the toes into the earth. already you can feel the core engage. So extending through the spine, making the spine long, pulling the belly button into the earth. So just stay here, or if you want to challenge more, you're pressing the knee and the shin into the earth. Also, guys, don't forget, if you want a blanket underneath your knees, bring that in, or a pillow, whatever makes it comfortable for you. So with the right foot extended, we're pressing out through the right heel. We're going to engage the core even more, press into the left leg into the floor, and lift the left arm. Breathing here, keeping the belly engaged, and then if you want to challenge your balance, begin to pull that right foot up off the ground, and then you can place it back down, remembering to breathe here, not letting it come up more than parallel to the hips. Exhale, everything comes back down. Let's come back on to the hips or blanket for a second, and then kind of shake it out. Relax your wrists if you need to. Coming back into our tabletop position. Let's switch sides. All right, so finding our foundation first, widening the shoulder blades away from each other. Shoulders are pulling away from the ears. Belly engaged, let's stick the left foot back. Toes curled under, and then pressing out through the left heel. So belly button is already pulling in towards the spine. And then if you want a little bit more of a challenge, let's lift that right hand. Working on balance. You can play with that. You can lift it up, you can keep it down, and then let's lift the left foot off of the ground. Again, finding your edge, whatever that looks like for you, and then just kind of playing with that for a minute. Making sure to breathe, 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 breathe. Pressing the top of the right foot into the earth. Exhale, let's bring it all back down and come into another child's pose. Stretching the arms out in front of you. Remembering coming into your child's pose, whatever is right for you, that's what's right. Taking some really deep breaths here, breathing deep into the belly with slow, long exhales. All right, pressing up to a seated position. Let's roll out the wrists again. If you want to stretch them, you can turn them backwards for a second and then forwards, pressing into the earth, rocking back and forth. Whatever feels good. You can turn the hands upside down, pointing towards the fingers, pointing towards the feet. Just kind of playing with it. If this gets too much, break up this workout and maybe do a little in the morning and little in the evening, just to give the wrists a break until your wrists are strengthened and ready for this whole practice together. All right, so from here, this is the last one where we're going to be on our wrists. We are in our tabletop position, pressing into the earth. We are going to take the left foot and bring it behind us, bringing the right heel, the left heel in line with the right knee and the right wrist. We are going to lift up the right foot and move it behind us at an angle. So everything is engaged in the core right now. Our belly button is pulling into the spine. We're engaged in the right obliques, lengthening the right side body. Take the left hand to the left hip and begin to open the left hip towards the ceiling. And remember to lift out of the shoulder, and then we're engaging all of these little muscles right here too, lifting up, coming into our side plank, really working the obliques. If you want to challenge your balance, you can lift that left hand up. And if you want to challenge your balance and strengthen a little more, you can play with lifting the left leg up. no more than hip height. But if you are right here, you're doing awesome. And again, you can have that blanket under the knee to help with that as well. All right, let's exhale, lowering down, coming back into our tabletop position, and let's switch sides. If you need to come back and give our wrists a break, you can press pause and rejoin us in a second. Okay, so from tabletop, we are engaging the core already, belly button engaged, tailbone pointing down just slightly. We're going to take the right foot and put the right heel in line with our left knee and left wrist, and then lift up the left foot and bring it behind us at an angle. Inhale, extending, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, let's lift up, right hand to right hip. And then again, engaging the core, the side body, the obliques, almost turning the back of the left ribs up towards the ceiling. Lengthening here, breathing. Awesome. And then again, if you want to lift that right arm up, eye gaze can come up to challenge the balance. And belly button continues to pull in towards the spine. And then you can lift the leg, whether it's just a centimeter or all the way up to hip height, whatever feels good for you. Pressing that left shin and the top of the left foot into the earth. That helps engage the belly too. Exhale, return to our tabletop, and then back to the child's pose of your choice. Let's take a few deep breaths here. I'm going to let my arms relax in this one, become less active. We're coming to the close of the practice. You guys are super strong. You should be proud of yourself for all the work you're doing. All right, and then let's bring the knees towards each other, and then bringing the hands close by. Inhale, belly button pulls into the spine again, rounding up one vertebrae at a time. Neck last. Awesome. Okay, we're going to flip around to a seated position again. And kind of how we started in the beginning in our egg pose, we're going to come into a variation of boat pose that starts a lot in the same way. So coming onto the fleshy parts of your sit bones, engage the belly. Our goal is to keep the lower back flat. We're going to grab behind the hamstrings and then begin to just walk those big toes forward until we find a place of balance here. Shoulders roll down and back. Shoulder blades are retracted towards the spine. And this is boat pose. You're here. If you want to play with that a little bit more, maybe lift one toe up, maybe all the way up to parallel to the floor, maybe not, but pulling that belly button into the spine and the lower back stays flat. And then lift the other. Breathing here. Inhale, extending through the spine. Exhale, belly pulls in tighter. All right, now let's bring the knees together if we can, and then play around with pulling both feet up off the floor. Belly's engaged, lengthening through the spine, and maybe bringing both legs up. Feeling the hip flexors here too. Awesome. All right, let's extend the legs out in front of us. Inhale, arms up. Gentle forward fold. We're not coming too far because we haven't really warmed up the hamstrings much. So just to a place that feels good for you. Lowering the heart rate now. Taking some deep breaths here. Finding a moment of stillness. Let's try to extend our exhale here, making it longer than the inhale. Awesome job. Let's roll up to our tall staff pose and just take a breath here. Belly engaged. That becomes more of a habit every time you get on the mat to engage the core. You'll find yourself doing it in every posture, which is our goal here. All right, awesome practice. Let's roll down onto our pillow or blanket if you're using one, and then come into your Shavasana, where we will stay for a quick guided meditation, just focusing on the breath. It's really relax the belly. You can stretch the hands up overhead if you want. And then working your way down into Shavasana. Couple of breaths here. And again, in your Shavasana, finding what feels good for you, making the posture your own. I'm going to bring in a bolster under my knees just to kind of take some pressure off of the lower back. Tucking the shoulder blades under a bit. And now taking a minute of quiet, complete and total relaxation. And now bringing awareness to the face, relaxing the jaw, relaxing the eyes, relaxing the ears towards the ground, which helps relax the scalp. And on your next exhale, imagine sinking into the earth, letting the earth support you completely. And then let's bring our awareness to the inhale and exhale through the nostrils. Just noticing the flow of air in and out of the nose. Staying with the breath in this moment. Noticing when the mind wanders and then gently bringing it back to the breath, focusing on the flow of air in and out through the nose. Let's stay with the breath for another minute. And then beginning to notice the temperature of the air on the skin and the points of contact between the floor and the body. Bringing some movement into the toes and the fingers. And when you're ready, rolling over onto the side of your choice. Just taking a moment here in this transition to align the spine. Let the earth support you. And then when you're ready in your own time, using the hands to press up to a seated position. Opening your eyes when you're ready. Coming back into the space around you. You guys did an amazing job. That was a great core workout. You can come back to it whenever you want, whenever you need. We are going to finish our practice with a quote and a deep breath all together. All right, so the quote for today is kind of about our inner strength. You never know how strong you are until being strong is your only choice. Bob Marley. All right, let's finish up with the breath, extending the arms out to the side, palms open to the sky, fingers spread out wide, and we're engaging the core. Inhale, arms up high. Hands lower to heart center with a gentle bow of the chin. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Leave any comments. Let me know how you're doing on your 14-class journey in the comments below. I love to hear from you guys. Great job. The light in me acknowledges and salutes the light in each of you. Namaste.